You're looking at a Kohler 9 kilowatt steam generator, in pieces obviously. I had this unit installed in my house and it was working great up until about a week ago. At that time I got an error message on my unit inside the shower that said error 5. This is the control unit. It's a thermosol, as you can see, and it's what gave me the error message. I bought the unit off of Craigslist and got it for a very good price. It was brand new in the box. The owner was in Santa Barbara, and that was quite a drive for me. So I talked to the seller and he agreed to send it to me once I made a deposit using PayPal, which I did. And I had this unit installed and it was working great, like I was saying before, up until about a week ago. So I pulled out all of my installation documents that I got off of the web when I first did the installation, and I started looking through it, and unfortunately there was not a whole lot of detail on the insides of the box itself. That's when I contacted Kohler and asked for their advice. In that the unit was purchased off of Craigslist and there was no warranty on it, I was told there was very little they could do, with the exception of having me send the unit in to have it repaired. Now, I know Kohler would pay for the shipping both ways within the fee that they were asking for, but I thought if it was only a switch, I may be able to fix it here. The repair person at Kohler told me there are no replaceable parts within the unit, and I found that to be true. I looked on the internet for parts, and there are no parts available for any Kohler steam unit or steam generator that I could find. So my choices were to send the unit in for $300 or to take a look at it right here and see if there was something I could do with it. So I chose to take it apart and look at it. When I first installed the unit, I used a 2-door access because I thought that at some point in the future that this situation I'm in now might occur, and I wanted to be able to get the unit out without a whole lot of difficulty. And that worked pretty well. I was able to get the unit out within about 10 minutes, and it was not much of a struggle at all. So I decided to take it apart and see if there was anything that was serviceable in it, despite what I was told. And here's what I found, and I'm going to give you some close-ups here. On the right-hand side, after removing the cover, and we'll get a little better look at that later, you can see that there's a section here with a number of relays and coils and some circuitry that I'm sure is used to control the unit. It doesn't look that complicated. It's one circuit board and then wiring and switches. Okay, I know that if there was anything wrong with the unit in that department, I'd be out of luck and I would have to send it to Kohler to have it fixed. But since the error message indicated that it was a float problem, that's when I started to look for the float switching area, which I think I found. And that's over on this end. It's going to be a little hard to show this. I'm going to move the camera down as we go here. This is the compartment that the float is in, and I'm going to give you a shot of the float in just a minute. But within that area, you can see that it was very plugged up with mineral deposits in there. Not the greatest shot. Okay. And so I soaked it. In fact, I think there's my float switch. I'm looking at it right there. And I need to make sure that that's very clean, so I'm going to have to get back in there and clean that out. That's one float, and I believe that's the switch. Now, there's another part that goes around this opening here, and I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, this is also a float. It goes inside of that compartment, and we'll get a look at that plate. There's the plate that you saw the bolts on the unit itself, and those bolts go through there, and they're tightened down. This is a solenoid of some type. I'm not sure exactly what it does, but I'm assuming it allows water either in or out of the steam unit, and I'm going to assume for the minute that that's okay, since I know that my error message told me it was something to do with the float. So I'm going to get in there and clean that material off of that float switch, and then just be in the process of putting it all back together again. As you can see, I was able to get most of the lime scale off. I didn't get every single speck of it, but from what I can see, the float valve is clear, and that should, if it's going to work at this point, then it's going to work. As it fills up, and on the first use, I'm going to also do a purging on it. That should blow out any of the smaller pieces, and maybe even take some of the larger ones off too. So now I'm going to go ahead and put it back together, and I'll give you some shots as it goes back together so you can see what came out of it in reverse order. Now we'll tighten that up with the 5 nuts and pick up from there. And here's the 5 nuts that I had set aside in my little baggie here. I managed to keep everything separated, so it makes it a little easier to go back together.